Welcome to the dungeon. I'm the mayor of Startup City, and I get to get the real cup. So basically what I'm going to talk about today is on the subject of bravery, but my version of it. I'm a geek by nature. That's a guy who still can get lost in his phone booth or do stupid things. It's inherited, so well, I can't check it. The moment the geeks becomes important was when they invent time travel. And I really love these geeks because I want to keep them around me, because when the earth goes down or the shit hits the fan, who do you want to on your team? These guys. So my whole life is being surrounded by geeks. I work in an IT company, work with these guys, we call them prima donnas in Danish, because they know all the answers to everything. So you can't tell them what to do, you can't manage them. You have to let them flow and somehow be able to shape to their moods and to their qualities. So leading geeks is kind of like what I've been doing for 20 years. And I think geeks will have a great impact on our society. So it's kind of like something we all have to get into. As I said, I'm the mayor of Startup City, this place. We have around 30 entrepreneurs sitting in a shared office space up here. And then we have other offices here where we have artists, architects, app developers, people building mobile greenhouses, people revolutionizing the fashion industry, and much more. So this is a very diverse environment. Before that, I ran a place called Geek House, which was a free place to be. This is a paid place to be. So Geek House was running for 2.5 years, and then we closed it down. It was actually the first office in Aarhus for this company, which is my employer. I'm the CTO of Miracle. CTO means, loosely translated, that I'm the Uber geek. I get to play with all the new toys. I get to play with all the technology, and as I said, I can't actually decide what's going on because there are 300 clever people who know better than me. But Miracle is very much, we do active CSR, we call it. That's participating in stuff instead of just sitting behind the walls and saying, oh, this is happening out there, we should relate to that. Get into the shit, do it. Surround yourself with the people who are doing the newest things instead of just looking at them through reports and through conferences. That's our focus. We have had entrepreneurs sitting in our offices for 5 years. We have unemployed IT people sitting for 5 years. So we support and try to share our spaces with everyone we can. We are also self-sufficient in the beer department. We have a brewery. So it's kind of like we are building the world around us. Okay, let's go back to Aarhus. I don't know when this picture was taken, but this is from the Centralværksted area. This was the old way of working. Physical stuff being built, lots of machines, heavy working environment. And today, the same offices look like this. It's a bit blurry. This is where we are now. This is what I call a disruption factory. When you walk into this, you are disrupted by everyone who wants to talk about the football game last night or their excellent skiing vacation or whatever. Not much work gets done in here. Our notion of meeting at a place and doing work in a limited time limit is very old-fashioned. I think we need to break up on that. And that is why I work at a company and I sit here most of the time. I'm rarely in my office because I try to, be the symbol of what we have to do with this working place. Entering that room is fun. The first day, it's nice, new lamps, the design, but it becomes boring after 30 days. After 60 days, people complain about the heat or the coffee or whatever, or they want the best desk. I mean, the work, steps aside and we don't have to focus. That's what I like about geeks. They genetically can't put their passion away. They wouldn't work in this environment if it didn't support their notion of working. And it's the same thing with startups as well. Startups are very focused, naturally, on customers and getting their business done because they can't do anything else. They don't have revenue streams to support anything else. They are starving. They are back to basics. Companies like this and like my own are easily prone to forgetting what we are actually set into the world of. We are 13 years old as a company. We have long forgotten where we started. But we talk about the good old days all the time. We don't want to bring them back. But we want to keep the vibe. We want to keep the feel of customers are still important, projects are still important. So how do the physical environment support that? I think you have to look at work in another way, go around different offices instead and be inspired. Otherwise this happens, conflicting. This is a good image of what is happening in my company right now. One guy is going that way, another guy is going that way, and it's a conflict in our company. What could easily happen for us is as well this. We would be driving around the streets and not looking at this hole and driving into it. If you just sit behind the wall and just try to think of what could happen, we'll bash into one of these holes someday. Or you'll clutter together. This is very much, in this city I think it's very much, people build their companies and then they build walls around it. I find that when I built the first company, my network was shrinking. People were stopping talking to me because, oh, he's building something. He must be a competitor. Yes, I am. Should you not want to know everything I want to do instead of pushing me out? I think this city lacks the openness to just mingle. We have great entrepreneurs, and in my 5 years in working with geeks and entrepreneurs, I've come across very interesting people just hiding in this small city. We are 300,000 people, and there are still lots of people who don't know each other. That's a problem. So, coming back to the working environment, think about how you work. This book just came out. It's written by a guy who's shifted to a company in the US, 37 Signals. He's called David Heinemeier Hansen. And this book actually gives you low stuff or practical stuff about how to work remotely. How, what do we do to support working in different environments instead of just meeting up at the office every day. Also, this book, Rework, looks into where you are wasting your time in your office environment instead of working with stuff that really matters. So there are great books out there. These are just examples of it. What they are trying to say to us all, work is like 40 hours, or for entrepreneurs, 80 hours of a week. It's killing us if we don't do it right. We are going home and killing our children, or we are killing ourselves, or whatever. But work is not something to be taken lightly. It has to be, fucked up and revolutionized in an evolutionary way, of course. So these books are a great source of that. We try to provide this by, being the source. We also try to provide this by building apps. This is an app. You can say how many participants are in this meeting, how much is the average time wage, and when did the meeting start. So we start the meeting maniac here, and this can be displayed on your great screen in the meeting room, and you can see how much the meeting has cost running up. So, we've been trying for like 10 years or something to get people to do 30-minute meetings. But there are people employed who live of having meetings day to day, wall to wall. So how do you break with that culture? How do you break with meeting up or just having a lot of important meetings and looking important and talking a lot on the phone? I think you can try to do this. Another app we built, I'm sorry it's a bad screenshot, but this is the bullshit bingo app we built. If you are at a meetup like this and I say a lot of bullshit, you can sit with this app and say, oh, he said strategy, he said, oh, development. And when you have a full plate, it brings the sound. I saw there are actually a couple of apps right now, and I saw some for the kids in school as well. It's hidden over here, but you can select something that the teacher will inevitably say during the class, and you can do a bingo. He will say, "Oh, you are late," or "You never listen," or whatever. And when you have bullshit bingo, you also have a full plate over here. So that's great. So this is the example of what geeks can do. Put something out into the hands of people instead of just talking. Building stuff. And I think it's a very important lesson. You should build something. You should, build an office space. You should build an app. You should do something that has a significant value to show what you're all about. These startups, they work with this cycle. It's called the lean startup cycle. You have an idea or an assumption of what will work. I have a product, people must love it. Okay, build it, show it, measure how many are looking at it or asking for it. Then you have some data, and then you can learn and revise your idea. So my co-mayor Lasse went to Norway last week at a startup week in Bergen, and he found a girl who wanted to take these cookies and make them much smaller, because then it will be easier to eat. That's right. Prove this idea, build it through, and learn that people want these cakes to be big, the size they are, and revise your idea. This is something you can work with, and I think people just forget one link of this. I think they forget to learn, because you get so much in love with your idea because you're afraid of the change that you skip this one and just say, "Oh, my idea is still good. These people don't understand me." Listen and adjust all the time. And this is what I do with myself. I listen and adjust all the time. At this point in my career, I should take an MBA. I should buy a boat. I should plan for my retirement. That is to get stock options and get rich quickly. What I don't do is all that. I go around to silly meetings or silly meetups that I don't know who will I meet. I try to do networking in a way that says, okay, and today I need to meet people that are not like me. I could go to IT meetups, but I'd rather go to creative meetups or whatever. I try to get inspired by not seeking what I should seek. So I try to do all this and work with it all along. And for me, it takes bravery, because you can easily stand out as somebody who's not focused. And if you're a leader, well, people expect you to be focused. People come to me and say, "Oh, you are too technical," or "Oh, you are too high up." I get all the messages. So instead, I put myself in it and I learn all the time. I try to inspire myself all the time. And this is environment. This is why I sit here. I do my work from this building to get inspired, to get some new angles. I think we inherently don't challenge ourselves. I think we'd like to have this self-implied vision that life is like we envision it. So nice, but you have to wake up every day and have amnesia, or seek an environment that will push yourself another way. There's a tendency that you seek people who are like you. Don't do that. Stay away from them. And that implies family, your students, your student environment, your working environment as well. People who want to stay on those railroad tracks and just be the same. They are dangerous. So don't be the guy, dragging all this shit home. And what is the net value of his business? It's around 500 kroners. That's a lot of work, and that's not working smarter. Let room for these guys who dream of doing stuff instead. Be the creative guys, let them flourish inside, and let them work where they want to. And be brave enough to accept shit in your life. That's also one perception we have. We have been educated, to follow the right path to the golden goal of honey flowing down the wall and being rich and whatever. Just to sum up, when we closed Geek House back in 2 years ago, we said, okay, this is done. We had 150 people coming in, 80 companies as such. The successful companies left for Copenhagen or abroad. And that's also one of the points at Startup City. We like entrepreneurs and we like them to leave. Because eventually they will leave and grow bigger. That's the success factor. So this is not about filling buildings at all. But when we closed down Geek House, we got offered this building, and I have to say, this has a net value of 860,000 Danish kroners. Nice. We were closing it down. We weren't going to build anything else, but now we got the buildings. What should we do? Okay, we built a Startup City. The building sucked, or everybody complained about it, and it was a crap place. The next place we got offered is this. But I mean, and here we sit today. But a year back, if you take a rational position on the crappy building, you would say, don't go there. I mean, everybody would advise you not to. But staying in a crappy building can get you beautiful places, and that's where we are today. So thank you.